This is going to be a odd video. I was going to give the date and all that, and then I said, who really cares? You know? It's just to be free of time and everything. And the song came into my head of Chicago from the 70s. Does anyone really know what time it is? And does anybody really care? That was the name of, whatever the name of the song was. Actually, here it is right here. It's by Chicago, like I said. And does anybody really know what time it is? And when I was young, way back in the 60s, this was on a jukebox. I don't even know those who live in these days know too much about that, but the old-fashioned jukebox, and that's how they were listed, all the songs. I used to play the jukebox all the time, all the old songs. Anyway, why did I start? Why did I start? I'll spit it out. Why did I start this way? Because of a carefree feeling. There's another song came to my mind, Carefree Highway, Gordon Lightfoot. I don't know, just songs are coming to me. Seems like, why am I doing this video? Why? Well, just like I say, does anybody really know what time it is? And then the song says, does anybody really care? So if you don't have any cares, then who really cares what time it is, you know? Prophetically or anything else. I mean, we know, not that we don't care or we don't want to know, but it's like, who cares? You know, Jesus is coming. When he returns, he does, and you could be free in everything. Free about time, you know, what time is it, what day it is, what the date is, what you have to do next. You know, when is Jesus coming, trying to predict it. You know, for so long, you know, just be free. But also to be free spiritually, and what I'm thinking here is like things that are issues happening that have been going on, all the troubles online here. So it's like, who really cares, you know? Get away from me. All this kind of thing. So you could be free from all that nonsense also. And people are just not going to listen. If they do, they will listen. If not, they're not going to, and that's apparent now. And so, again, I know I just did that last video, and you know what I was talking about. Stuff going on, not wanting to be on here, and how short the time was. So, you know, I really don't care. Like the song says, I don't care about all this stuff going on here. You just be free of it, you know, get away. That's sort of the way I feel right now. So I was going to get on with whatever it is I was going to get on with, you know, to deal with all of this. And I right now, that's just the way I feel. Who cares? I don't even want to deal with this anymore. You know, what's the use of doing it? You try, and if people aren't going to listen, they're not going to listen. They don't have the discernment. They don't want to have the discernment. They don't want to hear the truth. You know, you can't shove the truth down anyone's throat. They're not going to listen. So whatever I do, as far as that goes, I feel like it's off my hands, like free of it all. Whatever I do, any so-called teachings or whatever, you know, I might finish up with that and condense it and just go over some points, but I'm not going to really start reading all the stuff again. I think I did enough reading, enough writing. I think it was pretty good, the videos I did, try and explain all this Gnosticism. So I might, finish up the loose ends, the details of it. And my point is, like I said in the last video, the time is really short, and we don't have to worry about it. We don't have to fret over it. We don't have to think about it. I mean, I'm not saying that in a bad way, but I mean, it's very close, and just be free in all that, free in every way. You see a dog barking, coming at you or whatever. It's like danger. Well, what do? You get away. You get away from it. You stay away from it. That's sort of how I've been thinking about what has been happening on YouTube. Just the same kind of things. Just get away from it. Stay away from it. It's no good. It's no good for you. It's barking up the wrong tree or the wrong end or whatever. I don't want to say. Anyway, I do have a point in saying this in my mind and what I've been thinking, and the point is this. Like myself or others, with exposing and having to even say who it is and whatever. It's like a fine line, walking a fine line, because they want to drag you back in. They want to drag you back into it, and that's what they're looking for, to continue it, to snowball it, and to agitate and get you going, and draw you into that. So, like I say, there's a fine line to a point, but to realize that and to stay away, scripturally, just stay away. If it's false, if it's not a true gospel and they don't want to listen, they're opposing it, and they're, combative and getting really nasty. Well, that's what you do, to a degree is what I'm saying. You stay free, and then you're free. You're free not to deal with it, just like I'm saying here. You're free in every way, I really stopped doing videos like this. I used to do videos like this like all the time. It was my sort of specialty, I guess. I don't know, where I used to just sort of talk like this whatever's on my mind. Seems like others really, well, a good deal like to hear this kind of raw, like, talking, just have no idea what I'm going to say, and just say something, and sort of comes out of your mouth. So yeah, I used to do that. I really I can't really remember very many videos, not like this, that I've done this since I came back on. I don't even know, what was it, like 8 months ago or something. Like I said, I guess I started doing videos maybe 3 or 3.5 years ago, and then went on and off. So I just feel like I want to just disassociate myself from all that stuff, and just, like it doesn't even exist. Not that that's how I'm going to deal with it. Whatever I do after this, I don't know how, how I'm going to deal with this, but it seems like if others, the majority, aren't even getting a hint of really what's happening here and aren't accepting the truth, really, it doesn't seem to matter if you go full steam ahead all the way and whatever you have to reveal. I'm not saying I won't do that. I'm just saying that it's like, it's sort of useless. Not for me, or to say the truth, but useless because others don't want to listen. They just don't want to. And, they just want to drag you down, drag you in, get you in their cocoon of argumentative and always having to respond and confront and, all that kind of stuff. So who cares? Let them do whatever they want to do. Let them say whatever they want to do. That's sort of the way I feel. I mean, there's times where, I'll let them have it. But, so, again, my point is that the rapture seems very close, and that's the good, that's the freeing part of all this. We don't have to be stuck with certain groups or certain influences. We don't have to, we could be free of everything. And so it's really strange because I was looking for something to put on the screen. It's like for hours I was looking and nothing worked. The lighting wouldn't work. I couldn't find really any image that I wanted to put up there. So it's kind of strange. This is how I didn't plan any of this. Just the idea came into my mind of this song. That's sort of how this video developed. I had no clue. Not that, some big special revelation this is or something. That's not what I mean. But it's just interesting because, like how this developed, and then I came upon this. Like I said, that's like a jukebox. And my parents owned a restaurant when I was a child, so I was always at the jukebox. It was like 3 songs for a quarter, 10 cents per song, or 3 for a quarter. And also jukeboxes, at a boardwalk or some store or some arcade or something. So it sort of brings back memories. Does anybody really know what time it is? By the group Chicago. So, yeah, we have an idea of what time it is, but we're just, waiting patiently. And also, like I'm saying, with all of this, all the CBGBs and all the stuff looks imminent, ready to happen. And I believe it is. But again, we could just be resting in peace because we're going to be out of here. So, I think we don't realize the influences and the burden and the psychic, I don't mean that in a occult way, I mean psyche of the mind, like pressing in, and you don't realize it until, you think, to be free of all of this by God's Spirit, the world, whatever's happening in the world, we know how impending it is, how close it is, but it's like, we could be free. Even waiting for Jesus, we could be free just to wait, to be patiently waiting. Because in a sense, I don't want to say it could be like a burden, because that's not, what I mean. But I mean, even the anticipation, even if something that you're anticipating good, in a good way, you get, rambunctious. You're always, you know what I'm saying? So it's sort of like the same thing, but not in a bad way, not like a negative things with the world or things going on online. But once you put all this together in one batch and it's all pressing in on you and you don't realize it, and then you say, whoa, push it all back. Whether things going on online, whether things going on in the world, things ready to happen, prophetically, and, imminent things that seem like danger, danger is ahead. And so I guess the point of all this is to be free of all your burdens. Really, be free of all your burdens, no matter what it is. No matter what it is. If you're going through something has happened to you, or is a continuous thing, and I've been going through this for a long time here now. All kinds of things have been happening, and it's continuous. But it's okay, you know. Who cares? You know, it's going to end. Um, Everything comes to an end. Bad things eventually turn around for good. And that's, I guess, the message here. I had no idea what was planned for this. And as I say, I used to do videos like this all the time, just come on and talk like this, and I really haven't. Not like this, you know, just so carefree and open like this, had no clue what I'm going to say, and something develops, a video like this, and I guess that's sort of like a message, or the message that I could sort of say this relates to, as I did all this talking here. So that's a good message. We need to hear that, to be free of everything, everyone, every influence, evil. And we know the evil one is behind all of it, trying to bring this upon us individually and together. And you know, we are the sheep of Jesus, and some like to use that in a derogatory way. I'm not going to say who, but black sheep. You know, being a sheep, it is not a negative, weak, you know, kind of negative thing for someone to be. I think that's how a certain person meant that, and for certain reason. And I'm not going to say who or what, but you know, bullies are like that. If you've grown up with bullies, if you've been bullied, you know, they're the big bully, and they're always trying to pick on someone who they think is weak. Well, we're not weak, and Jesus wasn't weak, just that he was gentle and mild, you know, of nature, and that type of way, okay? So those type of people, they're always looking for someone's weakness, or whoever they think is weak, and you know, won't stand up to them. And you know, that's what they enjoy. And they show, you know, they show what they are deep down by the way they are. So we do need to stand up for the truth, and even stand up for ourselves, and you know, to a degree. You know, not be intimidated, or you know, cast out in a bad way, made to seem, you know, especially spiritually, so that others will believe lies, and you know, believe lies about the truth, believe lies about you, and then the whole shebang entails. So I mean, sometimes I seem to go overboard, over the edge, in that respect. But sometimes it's warranted, and some of us react. You know, we're all different, obviously. So I think I made my points here. I think it's important, again, about dealing with what's going on online. Yes, we have to stick up for the truth and defend ourselves, absolutely. And at times, you know, if you have to say who it is and directly, well, that's, you know, that's what you feel you need to do. And then, like I say, on the other hand, but be careful. It's a fine line, and pull yourself back from it, because they want to grab you and pull you back in, you know, so that they could pull other strings and manipulate others, you know. And as far as spiritually goes, the bottom line is that these individuals, they don't have Christ in them. And I'm not saying that like saying, you know, I'm just making a call about this, but they actually, from their doctrine, they oppose that. So then you know that they don't have him in there, because they're opposing that, and they're deceived. And, the very foundation, that, like I say, that's the only doctrine that matters. Christ in you, the hope of glory. And all of what they claim to know and claim to know about Scripture and what they say is the gospel and the gospel of grace, it means nothing. As the saying goes, it's a hill of beans. Is that the saying? It doesn't amount to a hill of beans. There's a lot of old sayings, old school things. So it really doesn't. That's all there is. Christ in you, and you in Him, and that's basically it. And as far as grace goes, that's how we're saved. Jesus is grace. He's in us. His grace is in us. We're saved. We can't lose it. Can't lose salvation because He's salvation. He is within us. That's the gospel. That's it right there. And He transforms us by that fact. And that's about it, really. Like I say, that pretty much is it as far as doctrine goes. I suppose that'll about do it for this session of Chicago. Does anybody really know what time it is? Whoever. And then he says, does anybody really care? Well, if you care what time it is, it's 2:53 in the morning, Sunday, 10/11/2020. So the message once more, finally would be whatever weighs you down, you could be free of that. So I mean, we all go through stuff, and there are burdens, there are trials. So it's not like we just sort of like, it's not like getting back to Gnosticism. It's not like a word of faith thing where you decree it. It's like, oh, I decree over this, and I decree peace and claim it. I mean, because you're going to go through things, and you come out of it and so on, and then there's peace at the other end. But at the same time, God's Spirit will let us realize things, the burdens, and we realize that, and then they fall away, and we're at peace and rest, from all the stuff that's been going on, and it could catch up with you, and you don't realize it, no matter what it is, and it seems to go in bunches. You know what I mean? It may not be just one thing, like 2, 3, 4, or 5 things. Before you know it, you don't even realize all these burdens are in one big ball, and you're carrying them because you're so used to it, And when you realize this by God's Spirit, it's like a weight falls from you, or like I say, like a balloon that just the pressure eases and the air comes out, and then you're at peace and rest. So that's a good message. We all go through this, and sometimes it doesn't seem to go away. It seems to last a long, long time. And then the storm eventually goes away, it subsides, and the wind stops blowing, and the sun comes out, and, the flowers are bloomed and so forth, all that kind of thing. Things, come back to normal. I guess also a good piece of advice, and I've said this in the past, is if you're burdened and you're over concerned, even if you're online listening to too much stuff, listening to the news, listening to the latest intel, someone has special intel supposedly, even if it's a good thing, like I say, you're constantly hyped, you're anxious, you want something to happen, you're anticipating, but it burns you out. You're concentrating on it, even if it's a good thing, and then add that with the bad things, and then the evil one trying to work on you and, bringing even more burden and so on, and trying to put pressure and so forth. And whatever circumstances we're in on top of it, it's all slopped together in one big mess. Or whatever malady we may have, whether it's physical or emotional or mental or some kind of affliction or condition, you know, there's just another peg, you know, in the whatever you want to call it, another kink in the rope or what have you. So I kind of think like maybe this video will help some others out, you know, in the peacefulness of it and realization of these things and what we're going through and what we go through personally and what's happening in the world, where we're headed prophetically and situationally and economically, politically, you know, everything. So, you know, life wasn't meant to be this way, and it's especially when we know what it is right at the end here. It's all heightened, all of this stuff, all the pressures, all the drama, you know, propaganda and news and everything else, and media and social media. You know, things weren't like that even when I was young, you know. The world was much different. So, you know, that's not the way the world is supposed to be. It's not the way it's going to be in the millennium. Things will be, I don't know how they'll be, but they'll be way better. Use the word normal. So, yeah, so this video, I know I'm taking a long time. I have no idea how long video's been going, but I'm just going to keep talking for a second more. It reminds me, like I say, of when I first started doing videos, and also it reminds me of the past itself, like in past of my life, you know, the way things used to be, and like I say, old school. I'm really old-fashioned as far as things go, even technology. I don't care about it all, you know, so I say most of that is pretty much totally gone. All of that kind of world, that kind of freeness, like I say, especially because of the point we're at in the world and everything else, and what's trying to be, you know, controlling people, bringing in, you know, governing others in such a way, take total control, all these things coming upon the world and all the troubles and all the really bizarre things, very unique to this generation, especially now at these last moments. And so, you know, that's all I have to say as far as being at peace. Like I said, all those things to trouble us, those mirages, they're not really mirages, but they're real. But they act that way because they're always constantly throwing images and you know, eliciting our emotions and are troubling our minds and burdening us, you know, no matter what it is or who it is or whatever the influence is. There's always someone trying to do that, or some evil, you know, and especially in subtle ways, you know. So just keep that in mind, that the rapture, you know, it appears to be very, very close here. And so that's very freeing. Comfort one another with these words, as it said. And it is a comfort to know that finally, in whatever you've gone through, however long it's been in your life, that, yeah, it is finally will come to a close, and all those troubles, you know, will no longer exist ever again. So that's what's going to happen when Jesus returns. And all right, that's it. Like I say, I just feel like time's really short here, And we could just rest in that, you know? It's very simple. Everything, all the windbags, and so forth, the doctrine and everything, what I just explained, salvation to be in 2 sentences, you know, and then being in peace. That's it. Resting in Christ because you're in Him and He is in you. I don't know why they don't want to get that message. It's so simple. It's because they don't want to accept the truth. Well, that's obvious. And that is the truth. So, all right, that's it. It's time to go drop another quarter in the jukebox.